And then I went to a person that I know, and I broke down crying, asking, why would he do that? And I was hurt. So this person held me for about 5 minutes, knowing that I was hurt.
And I was just thinking, if they used to the same thing, you just connect.
Hey, Alan, if you're wondering, I got $165 sent to MDA.
It's generic.
I don't know. I mean, it's program.
Right. So that's why I bought it, because I think programs like this.
Oh, no. We finna get rid of these. They finna change.
Good.
That's what I don't understand it like I used to. It's like, hey, where'd I go? Oh, yeah. Yeah, good job, Councilman Green.
What you doing to it? I was gonna see if I adjust that, but you already ended it up.
How y'all doing? Yeah, we close. Chairman, how you doing? I was thinking about that today. No, seriously, I was on the call again. I got what get but it was on my to do Give him a call.
Yeah, please give him a call.
Yeah, I thought about it. Yes. I have not got it hooked up. I'm supposed to get it today. I had to cancel because I didn't show up. So, RJ, thanks, man.
You're very welcome. They get them fixed. I put them on the phone with each other today.
Okay, she hadn't called me.
He's been out there. They teach him how to be supervisor. He said the real supervisor's not there. So he went out there and she got to call her and say, hey, he's outside. They got together.
That's not. I mean, it's not good.
Like, we still look like slavery too.
Because I asked her, so can you power wash your dishes that we did?
Because it looks like they had some type of rocks on the other side.
Yeah, and this guy.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
So they met each other today. They said they should be able to get about the 21st done, but they said it's still on the contract. But everybody's connected.
Good, I appreciate your help.
Can you go over and say $165?
Praise $160.
That's what I sent to MDA, $165.
Awesome. I'll ask, okay?
The meeting of Shreveport City Council is now called to order. I will ask Ms. John Glover to lead us in the prayer. I will ask Councilman Butcher to lead us in the pledge.
If you so choose, please bow with me. Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening, thanking you for this day, thanking you for this moment whereby we can come together to address the needs of our city. We pray that the things that we do and say here today are mindful of you and always you, and that we indeed are about the business of the city. We ask that you continue to watch over us, keep us all safe, watch over those who protect us from day to day. In your Son, Jesus' name, I pray. Amen.
Amen. If you would, face the flag and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Taylor. Councilman Brooks.
Here.
Councilman Taylor Farrell.
Here, ma'am.
Councilman Butcher.
Here.
Councilman Jackson.
Here.
Councilman Green.
I'm here.
And Councilwoman Bowman.
Present.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the administration conference meeting Monday, July 22nd, 2024, and the city council meeting Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024?
So moved.
It has been moved by Councilman Butcher, second by Councilman Talaferro. Any discussion? Let's vote.
Aye.
That passes with a 6-0 vote.
Okay. It's not showing over here. Pass with 6. Thank you.
I see Bishop Brandon back there. Good seeing you, Bishop. Does any council member have any awards, recognition, or distinguished guests not to exceed 15 minutes?
Mr. Chair, I don't have any special, but I need to talk to Mr. Clark.
Okay. Mr. Clark.
Is that Malcolm? You can come on, Malcolm.
Malcolm.
Thank you,
Clark's
Malcolm.
on vacation, filling in for him today.
Okay, thank you for coming. But listen, I'm getting a lot of calls from the Meadows subdivision, and it's about the manufactured homes, and I wanted to know where was that at this point in time, because the people that's calling me say that they don't want it approved for them to go over there. So would you be kind enough to check into that for me?
Sure will.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Does any other council member have the award, recognition, or distinguished guests? I see Mr. Temple in the audience. Did you want to come up, or are you just gracing us with your presence today?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I just stopped by because I wanted to express my personal thanks to this council, mayor, to the administration of the city for everything that y'all have done for us. G-Unit would not have been able to achieve what we were able to achieve together with this city without your cooperation and support. We are forever grateful for that. And I just wanted to be able to say that publicly today, and to thank you all individually and collectively, and to thank you, Mr. Mayor, and your administration. So thank you all, and we're looking forward to next year.
Thank you as well. Appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman, can we have Mr. Daniel?
Okay.
I was just telling them
Yep.
about that.
Mr. Daniel?
Oh, I was telling them. It was good.
I brought notes, if that's okay. I'm sorry I missed y'all yesterday. I handled the,
Issue for me?
yes.
Good, thank you. I think that some of the issues that we're having, and the reason that I think Councilwoman Taylor wanted you to come up, and I think all of us, we're getting the same complaints. And for some reason, it's kind of strange. It's sporadic neighborhoods. Like, some will be north, some will be south. South of that, it's okay, but I got a text message Sunday night from somebody in 12 Oaks that has changed out their water filter like 3 times this week, and it looks like dirt. So, I mean, I know that you're working as best as you can. I just want to reassure because it's getting to a point now where people are saying the water's not safe to drink. And
Yeah, that's incorrect.
that's what I keep telling them, but
And we've had several conversations with the Department of Health, but I kind of wanted to recap everything that's been going on for you today, if that's okay.
yes, sir.
And please feel free to interrupt me anytime as I'm speaking if you have a question or if I'm unclear. But so William Daniel, Director, Water and Sewer. When I first got here in 2020, we were getting ready to restart a remodeling of the water plant, Amos Water Plant. And when they considered all the factors in remodeling the plant, manganese was never on anybody's radar. It was not ever been a problem. We treated for it, of course, but it was always very low levels. And so historically, it was never an issue. The plant installed a fantastic new ozone system, which theoretically should have enhanced our ability to treat for manganese. So last year we had a drought, if y'all recall, and not much water was actually stirred up on the lake. One of our theories is why in mid-June we all of a sudden saw this hugely elevated spike of manganese in our water. And we immediately, began treating it with our new ozone system. That was not as effective as we hoped. And we had an old chlorine dioxide system that we had sort of abandoned. And we started using that system, even though we had initially began phasing it out because of the age and because in the new system we didn't think we needed it. So initially we had elevated levels of manganese leaving the plant, but not at unsafe levels. We had to completely modify the entire treatment process at the plant. And we were successful in lowering it. But one of the problems is the manganese levels are fluctuating in the lake. So we might have a 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, and then the next 2 or 3 days it'll drop down to a 0.2, and then it'll go back up. And that's important because manganese is the chemistry, the water chemistry of manganese is complex. So when it's coming in at one level, we have to treat it a certain way, or we'll actually create more manganese in the water. So if it's coming in mainly dissolved and we hit it with a lot of ozone on chlorine dioxide, we can actually, we'll turn it into particulate manganate, but if we hit it with too much, we'll raise it again to an 07, I think is what they said, and then we'll turn it back into dissolved manganese. If it's coming in too low and we hit it with a bunch of ozone or chlorine dioxide, then we can also affect it. So we are literally every day fine-tuning our treatment process to get rid of the manganese. We've been pretty successful in turning it into particulate manganese, so successful, in fact, that we were filling up our basins with manganese particulate. And we have these 20-foot settling basins. The way the water is treated is it comes in, it goes into a raw Amos, and then it goes into some of our settling basins, which is where we're hitting it with coagulants and oxidizing it. And what's happening is that manganese falls out of solution because it's a particle and we've clumped it together, and it's sitting at the bottom of our basins. The very, very bottom has no oxygen, which turns the particulate manganese back into dissolved manganese, and it floats up through the particulate manganese back into the water. So, we can take it out, it goes back in. it's a process. So we are cleaning out our basins. We normally clean out our basins once every 4 or 5 months. We're cleaning them out monthly now. We're basically cleaning them around the clock. We start at one side and we have to work all our way through the basins to the other side, and then we start over again. And we're doing that on a monthly basis, which is about as fast as we can do it. We can't take every basin down at once and clean them, or we wouldn't have any water. So we actually, about 2 weeks ago, got the manganese level down to 0.05, which is where we want it to be. And we thought, well, we're looking pretty good, and it fluctuated 0.05, 0.06 during that time. We've got some manganese also in our clear well, which is the water that is polished and ready to go out to the public, but it's sitting at the bottom of the tank in like a very small crust, and so a little manganese will filter up into that as well. But 10 days ago, the manganese levels in the lake spiked again. Very high dissolved. This time, a lot of iron in the water and also organics, which we're used to treating pretty regularly. But the more organics and iron in the water, the less effective oxidizing manganese is, because the organics and the iron take the oxygen preferentially before the manganese does. So we even need more ozone and chlorine dioxide, and these units are old and they've failed regularly since we have started this process, the chlorine dioxide units. So we are actually going to purchase a new chlorine dioxide unit, if Mr. Dark will allow me the money in the budget to do so, to help us treat the manganese. And it's, we were actually, like I said, we were completely phasing out the chlorine dioxide treatment because we didn't think we'd ever need it again. And now we kind of see that it's going to be, at least for the short term, we're going to need it to help with the manganese. Additionally, cleaning out the basins is somewhat of a task because our basins are very old and they have really no cleaning equipment in them. They used to have some rakes and some other cleaning and some pumps, but they're many years old, and the company that even makes that has gone out of business. So to clean the basin, we have to get a crane. We lower a skid steer down into the basin, and we drive it around to pick up the manganese particles and move them to the drain to wash them out. So that's a very time-consuming and expensive operation as well. So we're going to repair the valves in those, and we're going to try to look for some equipment that will allow us to clean the basins out much more effectively in the future. So the final is we're going to try to we've been working with the Department of Health to try to come up with a plan to clean out our clear well, because they will not allow us to clean it out while we're sending water to the public. So we've got about a 4-hour window from about midnight to 4 a.m. that we think we can clean it out, and then put it back, and then fill it back up in time to supply the water, because it holds 10 million gallons of water, which is that's about 16 to 20% of the water that we make in a day. So we need it in operation. I can tell you that we've been successful in keeping it in the down like between 0.1 and 0.15, which is not where we want it. We occasionally get it down to below 0.1, but that's still not where we want it. There's just so many barriers at the moment, and again, the manganese level in the lake keeps changing, so we're having a hard time dealing with all of the manganese that's in the water. I've got our flushing guys out working 12, 14 hours a day, including weekends. I have contract flushers out working as well. Our lab people they're working 24/7, taking samples and analyzing them because we have to have those samples and we have to analyze them so that we can, when we see what the water coming into the plant is, so that we can adjust the treatment process to take care of it. And we've got pretty much the whole management staff at Amos is working 24/7 too. As our consultants, we have some water quality consultants who we have a meeting every morning and we talk about the water coming in and what we need to do to change the treatment to keep it low. So we had a conference call with LDH. LDH is out sampling the water in the system. They've deemed it perfectly safe. I understand that the quality is not what we want it to be, and I can assure you that that nobody in the water department is happy with the quality. But we do 100% know that the water is safe. And we had a conference call with LDH, and we said, look, if there's anything that you think that we should be doing, they had all their experts on the phone, and they said, everything that you're doing, we think is appropriate. Just keep doing it. So that's what we're going to do, and we're hopeful that in the next few weeks that, the water will, we're hoping as the temperatures cool down that the manganese levels in the lake will go down. In the meantime, we'll be, doing everything that we're doing every day to try to keep it as low as possible.
I guess the one question I have is, we've been getting water from there for forever. And you probably can't answer this question, but it's concerning if this particular mineral is getting into the water. What else is getting into the water, and what are we going to address at some point?
We analyzed everything. We analyzed manganese in the past as well. So manganese is the most common mineral on the planet. It's everywhere. It's in the earth. It's in the air. It's in our water systems. It's everywhere. They use it in hospitals. It's very, very common. Only at exceedingly high levels, if you ingest it over time, is it dangerous? And we're not anywhere near those levels. So
what I guess my question though is, and this is, you may not be able to answer this. I've lived in Shreveport and been drinking the water since I was 14 years old, and that's 10 years. It's really not, but it's
I was buying it.
That's realistically, it's almost 40 years. And why are we having this problem now? And we've never had it in the past. Was it because of the oxidizing that we were doing previously with the chlorine, and we moved that? And maybe that's it. I guess I'm concerned with our water. I'm just worried about the future of the water supply. Should we be looking at backups or something like that?
Well, we've been sampling the lake, and we've been sampling all the tributaries flowing into the lake, and we can't find a manganese geyser, so to speak. The levels are just high. They're high in the tributaries. They're high in areas of the lake. We've seen higher elevations of manganese where there's construction, and presumably that's because the dirt is getting into the water from being moved around. The dust will settle. It has manganese in it. The heavy rains at the start of the year washed a lot of dirt into the lake. Also, as I was saying earlier, one of our theories is the lake actually didn't do very much last year due to the drought. It did not. We did not have as violent of a turnover in the water as normal, and we think that the manganese piled up down there during the year, and now that we've had all the rain, and when it turned over, we actually think it's turned over twice now. That brought a lot more manganese to the surface. But we don't have the resources to mine the bottom of the lake and see, what's going on, or even we've hired some sampling companies to go out and take some samples in different portions of the lake to try to understand if there was some way that we could limit the amount of manganese in the lake water. And it's difficult. If we were a much smaller system, there are other solutions available. But like I said, one thing that we know will yield benefits would be to have a second chlorine dioxide unit that we can use to oxidize some of the finished water, and that will help us, or the effluent before it goes in into the clear well. We think that'll help a lot.
Is that something that needs to be on next year's budget, or is it something that we can do an amendment to get
What's
it?
it cost?
About $250,000. Yeah, we think we can do it. We're planning on doing it, but even so, it's not an immediate fix.
Right.
We got to order it. We got to do some design work, not much, but a little, and then we got to get it installed. So, but we're doing some things in the meantime. We're trying to rent a chlorine dioxide unit to use as well. So, like I said, we're literally leaving no stone unturned. This is 2 or 3 hours of every day that I am alive.
Are there any other cities that have dealt with this?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
there's all over according to LDH, all over North Louisiana, the manganese problem is an issue. But like I said, these smaller systems, we're the largest system up here, and the smaller systems have a lot more options to be able to treat it. There's green filters and other opportunities to get rid of it. Or there are some of like Monroe has a much newer system. They've got a cleaning of their settling basins. We were talking about that. Could we get something like they have? So there's other options, but they're gonna take a little time to implement. In the meantime, we're just kind of doing what we can. Hopefully that we can get that rental unit, and I think that'll help.
Well, I think that you have answered. This has been behind crime, one of the biggest issues that I've dealt with in the almost 6 years that I've been on the council. And you've answered every question when I send them to you. And there's some people that have sent some fairly nasty emails to all of us. But you've handled them well, and you've answered the questions. And it's people are fearful because it hadn't corrected. And I appreciate you coming up here and talking to us. And
well, just to be quite candid, this is like the most disappointing thing in my entire professional life. Not being able to resolve this quickly and and to get the water quality the way we want it. But I can assure you it's not been for lack of effort or lack of motivation.
Mr. Daniel, thank you for being thorough. I do have one more question with Councilwoman Bowman, and then we'll go from there.
Mr. Daniels, thanks for the update. The problems that I had on Lisa Lane, Juella Merwin, those have been corrected. So I think the flushing that you did there did work. Is there any tips that we can tell the public as far as, like, I know if they hadn't ran their water in a few days, or if they go away for the weekend, if they run it, it helps. Is that true?
Flushing the water, people, the places that we think have had the worst problems are where very little water is being used. And so it kind of accumulates. The areas of town where a lot more water is being used, there's maybe a slight tint. Where I live, I can't even tell it.
Okay.
But flushing works. And so if anybody has any problems with the water, we'll gladly come out and flush it, and that usually clears it up pretty quickly.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Daniel.
Thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Arsenault, do you have any awards recognition of distinguished guests not to exceed 15 minutes?
I do not, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Do you have any communication relative to the city business?
I do not, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Reports, does any members have any questions for property standards? Mr. Green here. Well, Mr. Green, we always thank you. We know you respond to our emails and texts pretty regularly, so just want to say for the public, anytime we don't have anything for you, that's because you've already handled the things we've already texted you or emailed you, so we appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone should have received the revenue collection plan and invitation report. Public hearing, there are none. Madam Clerk, will there be any legislation to be added to the agenda today?
Yes, we have ordinance 96, levying and authorizing the collection of a tax 9.040 mils per dollar on all properties subject to ad valorem taxation within the bounds of the downtown development district of the city of Shreveport, Louisiana, as defined by Louisiana Revised Statute 33:2740-38 for the year 2024 in the amounts and for the purposes described herein.
Is there a motion to add 96 to the agenda? It's been moved by Councilman Talaferro, second by Councilwoman Bowman. Is there anyone that likes to speak in favor or against this legislation being added today? Seeing there are none, let's vote.
That passes with 6.
Today we will hear public comments on agenda items only. Vice Chair Green, do we have any questions to speak?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Mr. Sammy Mears. Mr. Mears, welcome to the council meeting. You have 3 minutes.
Before Sammy gets started, he told me before the meeting that he was able to donate $165 to MDA. So
That's correct.
thank you, Sammy.
It's also 36 years.
Congratulations.
And by the way, Cliff Roberts recognized me at Springs of Grace Baptist Church for that. Sammy Mears, 1133 South Point Parkway, apartment 111, Shreveport, 71105. Today I'm speaking on Resolution 98121 and Ordinance D40. I think it's a great idea for the mayor to be able to execute a great acceptance of active donation between the Shreveport City and the Harper LLC. It's called owner and acting here through the F. Randy Harper, president for water and sewer maintenance and related on the facilities of this Trinity Bluff 2. Also, I want to say it's okay to authorize the lease of the lease of portion in the stage work of Louisiana, a city-owned property to the GU Unit Film Television Louisiana LLC. I've been looking forward to talking about both of these, so please vote yes on both of these today, and it would be appreciated.
Thank you, Mr. Mears. Mr. Craig B. Lee. Mr. Lee, thank you for coming. You have 3 minutes.
Craig Lee, 1112 Prospect Street. Sammy echoed exactly what I was going to talk about in terms of ordinance number 40. I know that Tom Dark spoke a couple of weeks ago as it relates to clearing up the fact that there wasn't an issue with the lease with the G unit situation. We're just waiting for things to finish with the Humor and Harmony weekend. So I'm in full agreement with this. I think this past weekend, based on what went on inside of the G Dome, also at Stageworks, everything was shown to be professional and upstanding. So we're in full agreement with ordinance number 40.
Mr. Chair, that concludes public speaking.
Thank you. We have no executive appointments to consider today. There are no items on the consent agenda or introduction are to be adopted. Ms. White, would you please proceed with regular agenda legislation?
Yes, sir. Resolution 120, authorizing a request to be, wait a minute. Authorizing a request to be made to the Louisiana Department of Natural Resources, Louisiana State Mineral and Energy Board to seek public bids for an oil, gas, and mineral lease involving the property located in District E and described herein, and to execute the lease for certain mineral interests owned by the city of Shreveport, and to authorize the mayor to execute any and all documents related to the intent of this resolution.
So moved. Has been moved by the chair, second by Councilwoman Bowman. Any discussion? Let's vote.
That passes with 6.
Resolution 121, authorizing the mayor to execute an acceptance of act of donation between the city of Shreveport and Hopper Homes LLC, hereinafter called owner, and acting herein through F. Randy Harper, president for the water and sewer main extensions and related facilities to serve Trinity Bluff.
So moved.
Been moved by Councilman Butcher, second by Councilman Brooks. Any discussion? Let's vote.
That passes with 6.
Ms. White, would you please proceed with introduction on resolutions not to be adopted prior to August 27, 2024?
Yes, sir. Resolution 122, authorizing the mayor to execute a cooperative purchasing agreement between the city of Shreveport and the Bossier City Fire Department. Resolution 123, authorizing the mayor to execute a cooperative purchasing agreement between the city of Shreveport and South Bossier Fire District 2. Resolution 124, authorizing the mayor to execute a cooperative purchasing agreement between the city of Shreveport and the town of Halton Fire Department. Resolution 125, authorizing the mayor of the city of Shreveport to sign a consent of the assignment by Citizen Acquisitions LLC of an oil and gas lease to CEP Acquisitions LLC. Resolution 126, authorizing the mayor to execute a permanent servitude agreement affecting a .102 acre tract of city-owned property with Permain Express Partners LLC. Resolution 127, authorizing and providing for granting a waiver to the parish of Caddo for all permit and inspection fees associated with renovations and new constructions taking place in Walter B. Jacobs Memorial Nature.
Can I get the motion to introduce these resolutions?
Second.
Been moved by Councilwoman Bowman, second by Councilman Butcher. These resolutions have been introduced. There's a request from the administration to remove ordinance number 5 from the agenda. If there's no objections, we will not read this into the records to be introduced. Ms. White, would you please proceed with introduction of ordinance not to be adopted prior to August 27, 2024? And you do not have to read ordinance number 95.
Thank you. Introduction of ordinances. Ordinance 88, amending the 2024 capital improvement budget. Ordinance 89, amending the 2024 budget for the general fund to adjust appropriations for the police department. Ordinance 90, closing and abandoning a portion of an alley in the Cedar Grove Addition subdivision in Section 24, Township 17 North, Range 14 West. Ordinance 91, closing and abandoning 2 portions of street dedications in the Manchester subdivision in Section 25, Township 18 North, Range 14 West. Ordinance 92, closing and abandoning a portion of the Thomas Street dedication that portion lying south of the public dedication for McKinley Avenue located in the Tacona subdivision in section 23 and 24, Township 18 North, Range 14 West. Ordinance 93, levying and authorizing the collection of various taxes totaling 17.000 mils per dollar on all property subject to ad valorem taxes within the city of Shreveport, Louisiana for the year 2024 in the amounts and for the purposes described herein. Ordinance 94, levying and authorizing the collection of tax of 11.3180 mils per dollar on all properties subject to ad valorem taxation within the city of Shreveport, Louisiana for the year 2024 for the purpose of paying principal and interest on the outstanding GOB of city of Shreveport. Ordinance 96, levying and authorizing the collection of tax of 9.040 mils per dollar on property subject to ad valorem taxation within the bounds of the Downtown Development District of the city of Shreveport, Louisiana, as defined by LA R.S.33:2740.38 for the year 2024 in the amounts and for the purposes described herein.
The motion to introduce these ordinance? Moved by Councilwoman Bowman, second by Councilman Talaferro. These ordinances have been introduced. Ms. White, would you please proceed with ordinance on second reading and final passage?
Yes, sir. Ordinance 40, an ordinance authorizing the lease of portions of Stage Works of Louisiana, a city-owned property, to G Unit Film and Television LLC. And it's request to post.
It has been moved by Councilwoman Bowman, second by Councilman Talaferro for postponement. Any discussion? Let's vote.
That passage with 6, this has been postponed.
Ordinance 70, to amend Chapter 38 of the Shreveport Code of Ordinances relative to vacant structures. Request to postpone.
Second.
Been moved by Councilman Brooks, second by Councilman Butcher to postpone. Any discussion? Let's vote.
Passage with 6, this has been postponed.
Ordinance 84, amending the 2024 budget for the Riverfront Development Special Revenue Fund.
Second has been moved by Councilwoman Bowman, second by the chair. Any discussion? Let's vote.
That passage with 6.
Ordinance 85, to amend various articles and sections in the City of Shreveport, Louisiana Unified Development Code for the purpose of clarifying and updating various code provisions.
So move. It's been moved by the chair, second by Councilwoman Bowman. Any discussion? Let's vote.
That passage with 6.
Ordinance 86, zoning case number 24-90-C, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located west side of Fairfield, approximately 175 feet north of 69th Street, from R-1-7 Single Family Residential Zoning District to R-1-5 Single Family Residential Zoning District.
Been moved by Councilman Brooks, second by Councilwoman Bowman. Any discussion? Let's vote.
That passage with 6.
Ordinance 87, zoning case number 24-95-C, an ordinance to amend the official zoning map of the City of Shreveport Unified Development Code by rezoning property located southeast corner of Line Avenue and Jordan Street from C-UC Urban Corridor Zoning District to IC Institutional Campus Zoning District.
Second.
Have been motion postponed by Councilman Brooks, second by Councilman Butcher. Any discussion? Let's vote.
That passes with 6.
Madam Clerk, is there any other table legislation to be removed from the table today?
No, sir.
Appeals, we have no property standards, MPC, ZBA, or ABO appeals to consider today. Are there any other appeals, Madam Clerk?
No, sir.
Are there any reports from officers, boards, or committees? Madam Clerk, is there a clerk's report?
The following letter of appointment was received from the mayor's office on August 7, 2024, and is subject for confirmation on August 27, 2024, and it's for Mr. Barrington Gibson III for the Metropolitan Shreveport Zoning Board of Appeals.
Mr. Mayor, do you have any additional communications?
I do not.
Does any council member have any additional communications? Okay. I will now take nominations for clerk of council.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I nominate Tanya Bogans.
Tanya Bogan has been nominated for clerk of council. Are there any other recommendations or nominations? Okay. I say we close the nomination for clerk of council. Do I need a motion to put this on the floor? Okay. I move that we appoint LaTanya Bogan as our clerk of council.
Second.
Second.
It has been moved by the chair, been seconded by Councilman Butcher. Any discussion? So before we vote, since no discussion, I just do want to take a time and say that, since you've been interim, from my personal opinion, you have done a great job. I have no complaints that have been brought to me. So continue to do a great job, and you have my support.
Mr. Chair,
Vice Chair Green?
I'd just like to say congratulations, and you've done a great job, and congratulations to you and your staff for continuing doing great work. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
My sentiments are the same. Congratulations. Thank you for all you do.
There's no other discussion. Let's vote.
That passes with 6.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
One more, I believe, congratulations in due. This is the first meeting we've had since Dr. Ralph Johnson has walked across the stage. So I'd like to call him up to the podium. I know that was a lot of hard work. I completed my doctorate years ago, but I can imagine doing that and working a full-time job. So I just wanted to publicly congratulate you for all your efforts and what you do for the city and what you do for this council.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Councilman, and I appreciate you guys' support. Without you guys being supportive of this endeavor through our process and what we do in our office, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So I'm thankful for all of you guys and all of the support that you provided me during that process. And my council colleagues, my staff colleagues, for all of their support and backing me up when we need it.
Mr. Chair.
Congratulations, RJ.
Thank you.
Vice Chair Green.
Congratulations, Ralph. What you say you want us to call you?
Well, you can still call me RJ, but I mean it's Dr. RJ. So if you feel
I'll say it
inclined,
again for the folk.
Can we compromise to call you DJ? DJ Dr. Johnson.
Whichever one is fine. But I appreciate all of you and appreciate the support, and I love all of you guys. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Executive session, there are none. If there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.
Somebody should have said something about the microphone.